Steve Kerr dropped a bombshell on the Kevin Durant trade. In a new interview, the Warriors coach revealed some key details on the long-rumored trade to bring Kevin Durant back to the Bay. But now his comments have sparked new rumors that Warriors GM Mike Dunleavy is still trying to work a deal to get KD this offseason. So in today's video, I'll break down what Steve Kerr revealed about the proposed trade, why trading for Durant is the worst possible move the Warriors could make, and the impact this will have on the team moving forward. But first, I need you to hit subscribe. Hi, I'm Arthur Ballesteros. This is Warriors Digest. We bring you daily videos breaking down everything going on with the Golden State Warriors. If you're part of that 30-ish% who watches our videos on a regular basis, but you haven't subscribed, just hit the button. You get notified when new videos drop, and it really helps the channel. We greatly appreciate it. So that we can get to the news like this. This is the headline going around. Steve Kerr drops bombshell on Warriors' pursuit of Kevin Durant. So in a new interview, Steve Kerr sat down with former teammate at the University of Arizona, Tom Tolbert. Tom is a fixture in Bay Area media. He's also a former Golden State Warriors player back in the 90s. When he interviews Steve Kerr, you have to listen because he's always able to pull out info that nobody else is able to get because of their camaraderie together. And this is the nugget that Steve dropped. Confirmation the Warriors did try to get Durant at the trade deadline. Steve Kerr said in the interview, "I think it's well documented that we were trying to get Kevin Durant, but that didn't happen." And after that, Mike Dunleavy calls me and he says, "I think we're going to trade for Jimmy Butler. I'm going to vouch for him. Guy's a gamer, hell of a player, and I think that's going to work." And I said, "Great, let's do it. We need a change." Before we get into the rest of this, I want you to drop your comment right now. Would you rather have had Kevin Durant or Jimmy Butler for this past season? Because I think the Warriors team could have gone two completely different ways if things had switched up a little bit here. So I want to hear what you have to say. But I think that it's really interesting that Steve finally has gone on the record confirming this deal. A lot of Warriors executives have been asked about this, and they kind of dance around it. Warriors Governor Joe Lacob said, yes, he would love to have Kevin Durant back, but kind of deferred and wouldn't give specifics about whether or not they actually tried to trade for him. Now, Kevin Durant is the one who let the cat out of the bag. He gave an interview to ESPN shortly after the trade deadline saying that he was the one who nixed the deal because he didn't want to move mid-season. Now, I think that's BS. He did later go on to say that, it's not about the drama that he has with the Warriors. It's more of the fact that any team that trades for him would have to give up so much that it just wouldn't be worth it, and he wouldn't want to go there afterwards. And thank God the Warriors didn't trade for him, because look at this proposed deal that would have gone down. This is according to Shams Charania. The Warriors made several aggressive offers, including one framework and a 3-team deal that would have sent Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga, first-round picks, second-round picks, and pick swaps to the Suns. But once Durant made it clear he didn't want a reunion with the Warriors backed off. Can you imagine this deal going down? The Warriors would have been gutted. Now, it was an incredible move to be able to get Jimmy Butler for the minimal price of Andrew Wiggins plus, some other filler contracts and things like that, Dennis Schroeder, all of that, and the deal that he was able to get done. But the Warriors would have hamstrung themselves for years to come if this deal had gone through. Because think about it now. The Warriors still have Jimmy Butler. They also still have Jonathan Kuminga, who they can work a sign and trade with. They still have those first-round picks. They can package all those together to get another piece that fits on this championship, hopefully championship contending team. So it just would have been monumental disaster if the Warriors had done this deal. But now Steve Kerr's comments are fueling new rumors that the Warriors are trying to trade for him. This one coming out from Blue Man Hoop. Kerr's admission proves that the Warriors must ponder previously unthinkable Jimmy Butler trade. There's also this one going around where the Warriors are predicted to land Kevin Durant amid these trade rumors. So there's a lot of speculation and talk that the Warriors should put together a package that includes Jimmy Butler and whatever picks they need to put in and whatever filler to get Kevin Durant from the Suns. Hell no. That should not happen in a million years. The Warriors do not need Durant back on this team. We don't want him. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your 2 years, the 2 championship years. But we're good. There's too much drama there. We used to think Jimmy Butler was too much drama, but the way that Durant runs his mouth to the media all the time would just be a disaster, as this team can find itself on the brink of disaster to begin with. As, Draymond Green is on the team. He's always got something to say. There's always potential fights going on. There is still that long and well-documented feud between Draymond and Kevin Durant. So all of this just would never have worked out. But it is an interesting thought experiment. What would the Warriors have been like this year if they had gotten Durant instead of Jimmy Butler? And I mean, when we look at the playoff stats here, Kevin Durant in his past 2 playoff appearances with the Suns, I mean, he's putting up incredible numbers. He's averaging 28 points, 8 boards, nearly 5 assists, shooting his threes at about 35%. Now, it's a small sample size, though, because obviously the Suns didn't make the playoffs this year. The last time they were there was the 2023-2024 season, where they got bounced in the first round, a 4-game sweep there. Durant still put up about 27 points. And when we look at what Jimmy did this year for the Warriors in 11 playoff games, he still put up a really respectable 19 points, 6.5 boards, 5 assists, and shot his threes at about 30%, although he takes about half as many as Kevin Durant. But the defense, the leadership, the tenacity, all of the other things that Jimmy Butler brings have been such a boost to this Warriors team. Now, would the Warriors have won that series against the Timberwolves if they had Kevin Durant instead of Jimmy Butler, with Steph Curry out with that hamstring injury? I think it's really interesting because the Warriors clearly needed more scoring in that series. And obviously, Kevin Durant is one of the best scorers in basketball history. I do think that the Warriors would have won at least 1 game if they had Kevin Durant instead of Jimmy Butler. Ultimately, they would have lost the series, but it would have been interesting to see if they could have pushed it to that 6th game. Of course, we'll never know. But this trade talk needs to stop with Kevin Durant. I mean, when you look at this guy, he's coming up on his the final year of his contract, where he's making $54 million, which is almost exactly what Jimmy Butler is making at this point. But for the Warriors to trade with the Suns, the Warriors, a deal with including Jimmy Butler, the Suns don't want that. The Suns want young talent. Now, could you somehow cobble together a deal, sign and trade with Kuminga and a bunch of picks for Kevin Durant? Probably not, because the Phoenix Suns have screwed themselves in the salary cap department. They're a second apron team, meaning that their salary cap is so far over the limit that they are really limited in terms of the actual trades that they can make. And it just makes it much more difficult to put together packages because you can't aggregate player salaries together in order to match. So the Warriors wouldn't necessarily be able to swing a deal where they're including multiple players in there in order to get Kevin Durant. The whole thing would be a nightmare, but an even bigger nightmare for the Warriors, because we just don't need a repeat of Kevin Durant's drama. Although the one interesting thing is that he would be a free agent at the end of the year. So you've got that 1-year window again to try to get something done to win a championship. I just still don't think that it's enough. An aging 36-year-old Kevin Durant next to Curry, next to Dre, I just still don't think that's enough. Completely hamstrings the salary cap again. But then after next year, it would be interesting with Kevin Durant's contract coming off the books, would create a lot of flexibility for the Warriors. But then, of course, you still have Steph Curry signed for a whole other year, and you'd really have to kind of reconfigure and rebuild the whole lineup again once Kevin Durant left at the end of the season in order to try to put together another run. I just don't think that it was a good idea, but I do think that it's interesting that finally here people are going on record talking about this happened. Like, this was agreed to, it was going to go down, and it was Kevin Durant who said no. And thank God, Kevin Durant saved the Warriors from the biggest mistake they would have ever made. We would be looking back at that deal as an absolute disaster. I'm going to hear what you have to think, though. Do you think the Warriors should still try to get Durant somehow in the offseason here, or do you think that they're better off looking for another piece to add? You let me know what you think, and I will talk to you tomorrow in the next video. Peace.